Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another stream to be Overthunk by Sharky. We are back here for another week, and surprise, we're actually back here this week despite my my previous claims that we were having a week off. Bet you weren't all expecting to see me tonight. Good evening, Katooth, in the chat there. Yes, there was a change of plans, relatively last minute change of plans that opened up my evening and meant that we could be back here again. The change of plans does mean, though, that we're going to have this same issue over the next week or two. So we're gonna start on an uncertain note of maybe we'll be here next week, maybe we won't. Maybe we'll be here the week after, maybe we won't. Odds are we probably won't be here in 2 weeks' time, and maybe we won't even be here next week. We'll see. All of that's still up in the air. But for now, we are here in the present tonight doing some Jaffa Factory. Episode number 12, according to the episode listing there, which means we ought to be making some sort of progress. I think last week we were fiddling about with a bunch of road surfaces for 3 to 4 hours, which probably doesn't show for the amount of physical work we actually got done last time. We did a lot of playing with block pallets and all those exciting things. The actual building of the roads didn't really take that long. We did some incredible copy pasting. One day this mechanism stuff is going to come back to bite us, if at all, but we shall see. That's a problem for another day. Let the world load in. Let's go into third person. Do that thing that I always say that we never do, and do a little bit of a welcome howdy, looking into the camera. Maybe I don't do this because it lags so much at the start while the world loads. Yes, we are back again. Back with our cows, our moo blooms. Maybe we'll move them at some point today. Maybe we'll think about rehoming them at some stage based on what we're doing. We've got some more road building to do. If you look forwards again briefly, you might be able to see peeking through there and peeking through there. And don't look at that guy who's still got his head in the dirt. We do have a little bit of roads appearing. You can kind of almost see a little bit of a grid system starting to form here now. The chunks are really coming to life, and we've got a little bit of structure happening here. So that's looking nice. We're starting to get a little bit of framework. This time around, we need to do the dreaded intersections and corners. Going to have to work out, this one's probably the easy one. Maybe we do it first, the T-junction. These two are potentially the harder ones, working out what a 90-degree angle corner is going to look like, but we'll figure something out there. And maybe sort of look at what might be involved in terms of undermining the mountain here, digging into the terrain a bit. Maybe thinking about getting a bit closer to this guy's house up here, doing something about all the Lewis holes in the ground here that we're just going to start to road over top of. And I've been thinking, not hard, but I've been thinking about the negative space here, where I was sort of imagining putting sort of the beginnings of some Jaffa Factory stuff into these chunks here. Because we've got this sort of pattern going here. Originally, in my mind, I had imagined, wouldn't it be cool to do like a kind of L-shape Jaffa Factory instead of just like a long, big rectangular thing, having something with a bit more of an L shape. But I sort of haven't really set myself up for that really well with how things are going. If the road here is just coming down and across, all I've really got is this tile here, and then it hooks up here. It's like a long flat with one chunk that hangs off of it to give the kind of the L shape there, which might be a little bit unbalanced, mightn't feel real well. So I'm wondering whether, and we'll see how the night takes us and various other things, I'm wondering whether this tile here might become like a little green chunk here. Like we might have a sort of a naturey strip almost in this section here, and that's what I'm thinking. Maybe some cows and things get relocated over here, and they just kind of live here for the time being until until the Jaffa factory requires their services. And so this can be a nice sort of grassy, planty sort of animal enclosure of some kind, just to get them away from here, and to give them sort of somewhere closer to the main factory where they can start to be of a bit more use for us down the road. So maybe we do that, and then we just have a more standard rectangular sort of factory somewhere up here. We'll see how we go. We'll see how things take us. But that's all the stuff that's been boiling away in my brain recently. So let's hop to it. What do we got on us? We've got a lot of our things from last time. Yeah, backpack's got various road building tiles. The inventory's got various power pole, telegraph pole tiles. We've got our wrench for doing all the good wrenching that we learnt last time. We'll see if we remember it all. Let's recharge our gadgets that have lost like barely 10% of their power. Let's quickly bring them back to life. Why is that not working? Wait a minute. What? Wait. Am I doing this wrong? Wait a minute. What's going on here? There's no power in... Wait. I was looking at the cable. Oh, it's using power to fill that back up. Okay. I can't put them in there. Whoa, what have I done? Put it in my hotbar. Okay, we gotta wait for the hydrogen tank to fill up before we can recharge them, apparently. Storage is going lovely. Oh, look at that. We've finally got something in these top 3 chests. That's empty, but this one's got poppies. Which must mean that the others are finally starting to fill up a little bit more. Those milk buckets are not stacked. Normally you wouldn't be able to stack them, but they do say 1 out of 16, so I would have thought they would stack. But that's fine. It's not like we're out of space. Oh, that's the controller. We still got plenty of room. How's this going? Is this done yet? It is not. It is going super slow, and it's not going to be done for a while. Okay, we're ignoring that. So, chunks and things. So we've got our nice straight chunk that everything is based off. Our model for kind of telegraph poles in fact, these are 2 chunks in a row. Our telegraph pole that's kind of 50% of the way through, sort of within the chunk. 50% plus or minus 1. To be repeated manually here. Yep, that's right, because we can't copy paste them, but that's fine. We can sort that. And this one. Now, this leads us to our first Lewis hole. First of many. Maybe we should turn the jetpack on. G for jetpack. There we go. That one, is that one accessible from this side? It is. And we have just fully buried that in. No, that actually goes nowhere. Okay, well, let us building gadget. Dirt? Yes, dirt. Look at this. Yeah, dirt. Alright, dirt me up, Scotty. Can we just fill like this area? I realize I'm standing in dirt. I will run. There we go. And I think I've got lots of dirt. There we go. Can we do that? There we go. That's nicer. Break that. Get up there. Building gadget that. There we go. I think that worked. I think that filled all that. can just put a little bit down here ourselves. There we go. Semi-natural for now. We should go and have a nap. In fact, let's have a nap right here. Can see your house up there, sir, getting slowly closer to the construction zone. So this one here, this kind of led nowhere. Let's hop down in here and see what's going on. Yeah, this one's an actual hole that actually leads somewhere. No. Leads this far? No, it does actually lead somewhere. Being temporarily brave. This is as far as it leads. Okay. Good enough for me. It's fully lit up. There's no danger of anything spawning in here now. We will just fully encase this. Just put a little bit of dirt in here. Like that. There we go. No one's to know. Okay. Lovely. And this bit here was the other one. How excessive does this get? This looks like it's got a bit of substance to it, this one. A lot of grass in this one. Yeah, this is going places. Yeah, this one deserves to be closed off. Okay, that one's just fully an end. Right, okay. So it's just that other direction that's rather scary. Nothing can come up this way. Yep, all those are large steps there. So we will just leave it as is and seal it over a bit. Come on, there we go. Fine. I was trying not to do that. Oh. Used up all that dirt. There we go. Alright. Well, let's just set that there for now. Okay, that's sorted that rough problem. Obviously we're going to have to deal with that more significantly at some point. I'm wondering whether we do something clever with like the super invisible manhole that Katooth was suggesting and just have like a super sneaky secret drop somewhere down into here. Although, to be fair, that is 90% in a chunk underneath the Jaffa factory. It's only really this part of the chunk that would access it, which is sidewalk stuff and not road, unless we built a secondary exit or secondary entrance through the stuff that we just filled in. But anyway, as I say, future problem. For now, let's sort this out, and sorting this out starts with mining out this chunk here to within the bounds of what we already mapped out. We can kind of then plan where things are going to go. Okay, so within this, what have we got? No, that's shapeless. We want to do that small tunnel one. Do it. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. Oh, I saw that happening right at the last minute. Wait a minute, I've got a jetpack. I was just about to do some water shenanigans and drop water down there. But we have a jetpack. This is literally what this is made for. What insane things have we just discovered here? Is that literally like a spawn chamber? Have we just... Well, is this the Mimic Cave? This is very close to the Mimic Cave. What have we just found? Set foot in a catacomb? What is this? What have we... Oh, this is scary. This is not what I was here to do. That's a spawner. Yeah, okay, this is a job for another day. I got so scared I broke that spawner instead of just deactivating it. Oh, this is what was through here. This is right next to that staircase. Okay. We have peeked into here before. Because we've closed that up. We've put that there ourselves. We're also officially out of torches. We have no coal on us to make torches. That's fine. We will just not go down there. And there's also darkness up there. Yeah, this is not good. This is not good. Let me... Yeah, this is way too dark. Let me just peek into this chest. Sure, lure, unbreaking, some gold. We just take all that and let us... No. Jetpack out. Okay. I don't know what to do about this. I'm going to use cobblestone to close it up as a way of indicating that we've been in here. And I don't even have another torch on me. Okay, let's just cobble the whole way. Let's just pretend we never saw this. That'll do us. Hi, Gabby. Welcome back. We just accidentally dug straight down. Something I don't do very often. And it was a disaster. We were supposed to do... Oh, I nearly did it again. Supposed to do that. And instead, we shot straight down. And everything went wrong. And of course, immediately broke our axe now, our pickaxe. It's Gabby. That's right. Oh, look, we've even got a pickaxe recipe waiting for us. Let's chuck these in the computer now that we're back with random things. Some poppies, a random bit of terracotta and flint, gravel, seeds. Oh, yeah, and more torches. We got charcoal? Yeah, but we might want the charcoal. I mean, No. Charcoal's renewable. Turn a bunch of that into a stack of torches. Yoink. Nope. Yoink. Yoink. Bam. Okay. That's better. Oh, and while we're here, these are done. So these can... Nope. Apparently I was just wrong. Okay. We're going to have to work that out at some point. Apparently you can't just recharge building gadgets and basic energy cubes. That's fine. They're not flat yet. But I assumed we could have just done that. So... tidy up this chunk. And then we'll work out what to do with this intersection. A lot of coal here. So I'm feeling like I may as well grab it, if I'm being honest. Rather than just bury straight over it. Shapeless. There we go. Well, there's a decent bit of it. Yeah, because it goes down into that place that we that we just dealt with. Let's close it back up. Use some of this cobble we've got now. Infinite cobble. And let's run for a quick nap. We'll sleep in our real bed this time. Get this rain to go away finally too. Okay, that's better. Alright, now we've got a chance of at least being able to see what we're doing. So, we at least need to connect that edge. I feel like that's a no-brainer. So, what are we looking at here? This is the deep slate pillar. Yep, these things. So, that's at least gotta get built together. That's pretty much a given. So that keeps that line going through. Same with this edge. So there are our flint blocks. There, we're gonna keep them going through for that edge. And yes, our standard pattern with that too's got to maintain itself. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And oh, we never did these three here. So these are our copycat slabs, of which we just, oh no, not like that. Of which we just don't have enough. I'm remembering now the heartache that was trying to get these slabs down the right way. Zinc. Yep, they were copycat things were made with the zinc. In this thing. Yes. Copycat slabs. This one. Yep. Bam, 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 bam. I mean, we're gonna need a heap of them. Just do it all. It's not like we're running out of zinc. We've got a gold machine that also makes zinc as a byproduct, so. Okay. Oh, and I've already forgotten. I'm supposed to have the flint in my offhand. That's how copycat blocks work. And then it would have flinted it as I put them down. I knew it didn't quite feel right. And look at that, that's used up all the flint. I got 16 more, that's fine. Plenty. Okay, so that bit's a given. Same with these internal corners. Except they're directional, right? That's fine. Yeah, okay. Okay, so it's interesting. Yeah, so this pattern that we've made with these just naturally runs east-west with this kind of pavement thing. I hadn't noticed when we did it this way, of course, that these don't rotate. Which is fine. I can live with that. It's a different look and pattern here. You know, than it appears here. It is very distinctively different. But I'm prepared to live with that. It looks more like stones and rocks here put together, whereas on this direction it looks more like a path has been laid. But I think we're just gonna have to deal with that. So same in this internal corner, and so the same again with these flint blocks. That's got to do that to keep this going. So this whole 3131 thing, there's no choice but to do that. I have to do that. But that has to be there. Okay, then do I have a choice? Because you're going to get asymmetry here. Like, I wonder, do we fully build up the corner? That looks weird. That looks really weird. Like, this is fine because this is naturally how this happens. That's always going to look weird, that side of the corner. Whatever we do there. Do we leave that one fully down low? How do we make these again? Oh, just literally flint. 4 flint. Okay. And we've got jillions of them. Over here. In here. Yes. What's that come out to? 2,000? 2,000 of these blocks of flint? There we go. That's quite a bit of flint. That should compress that, shouldn't it? That's how this barrel works. Yep. As more flint comes in, it gets compressed. Perfect. Okay, well, we've got oodles of flint now. So stick that in the offhand. Put a few of these down. I'll see what this starts to look like. So that's the most natural corner. That one's gonna just happen fine. It's over here where we have to sort of see how this plays out, just with its asymmetry like that. You know, I think that's fine. That'll be fine. We are gonna need whatever this stuff is, the black concrete powder. That's it there. That's the concrete powder. Yep. To just keep that going internally there. Like that. And we'll run this down this side as well. That sounds like a wild skeever's arriving home. Oh, she's even brought me home some cake. I don't know, last week it was chips, this week it's cake. And there's a lot of it too. Did anyone... Well, I was going to say, of course people ate it, but...
Only one person didn't have any.
Nice. And they all enjoyed it?
And I left a piece for tea because he wasn't there.
Oh, he wasn't there after all that?
Well, he wasn't going to be there anyway.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't for him, so.
No, it wasn't his cake. He just likes
But
cake.
I think the birthday girl was. She was like almost tearing up.
Oh, good on
I
her.
thought it was so nice.
Yeah. Well done.
But I'm like, mate, if you're 80 and you're still playing tennis, you deserve a cake.
I reckon that's got to be the rule. Brief cameo there from Skeevers in the background, who's made a birthday cake for an 80-year-old tennis player. She's finally wrapping up her social tennis career, shall we say?
Yep.
I think she's been trying to stop for a long time, and
She
she's
was one of my first partners.
yeah, one of your
when I
first partners.
Started playing tennis.
Yeah, way back when. What am I doing? This is concrete. Let's get some more concrete on the go. We're gonna need a lot more concrete. There we go. Little cameo there from Skeevers.
If you can't
That
have
one.
cake when you're 80, when can you have it?
That's right. Okay.
Gabby.
That's right. We've
Gabby
got
and Katoos.
Katooth and Gabby back with us as well.
Katoos not even talking to me. Rude.
I don't even know if chat can hear you real well, Skeevers. Now you've walked off. Never mind. Okay. I figured I'd put these lines down first before we put the black void down, because we can work out how far into the intersection to travel, because we obviously can't make an actual T-junction with the lines. Gonna have to stop somewhere. Oh wow, there's a big auto mod, possible evader, smart detection. We specialize in promoting Twitch channels. No, let's just block that. There we go. Good work, auto mod. Nicely done. Oh, that's not a good start. That's not a good start at all. Let's spin them around. I forgot that these were directional blocks. Somehow. Like that. We gotta place them side on. So let's come in like that. So this gets us up level to the intersection. There we go. So we've now entered the interior part of the intersection. Time for sleep. Time for more concrete. We've got concrete powder, but no more actual concrete. So let's make ourselves a heap of concrete while we figure out what we're actually doing here. Alright, back to bed. We should have a lot of this stuff just on the go in the background. We haven't automated a concrete setup or anything, but I feel like there would almost be a bit of value in that. Let's clear this out. Black concrete. So the powder itself, yeah, and we've got loads of that. We've looked into that previously. So one stack. Oh, nearly. Yeah, okay. 2 stacks of that with a bit left over. So now we've just got to, we've got to wash that and it becomes that. Okay, that's not too bad. It's just literally crafting and washing. It was the process of getting the sand that was the slow part. Yeah. Now blasting. One day we'll fix this setup too. Some of this early stuff. Also, how are these chests of doom going? Oh, look at that! They're down to like 10k. And the granite's really down. The others are down a bit, and the cobble is actually taken back over. Wow, that's amazing. We've really turned the system off, haven't we? We need to turn a few back on. Except for the cobble. Cobble's doing amazingly. If anything, we should turn some of the cobble off. But granite especially. Where's granite? This one here. Is there something wrong with the granite? We've got 2 of them going. And isn't that all we've got of the others as well? Might be the lag, but they look like they're going faster. Granite just does seem a little bit slower. I think it was just the lag. Maybe we while we're doing a bit more of this, add some more shafts back in there. Get slowly pushed away by that water. What do we got? Let's stick some shafts back in here. Not a whole lot. You don't want to go overboard here. I'll just put in 2 more granite. There. And there. Yeah, this end one doesn't even have a drill in it. Yeah, that's fine. So, that'll get granite going back up, because it's the one that's closest to running out. And then we'll check in on it again a bit later. Okay? If we remember. Whoops. I don't want to wash those shafts. Okay. We got our concrete powder. We got to turn a bunch of these into lines again. This stack of 26. No, that's the concrete powder. Okay, sure. Split that stack. Get 32. 32 in lines. There we go. Alright. So, let's just come in another one from everything. See how that's starting to look. Don't get distracted by the stripes on the sides of everything. Not looking at those. Just sort of how this is starting to look as we come to an intersection here. Because, yeah, I'm imagining just a little void in the middle where the lines just stop. But I don't want it to be too unnatural. They've got to go a little bit closer. I guess if you're thinking of like traffic turning, like traffic here, turning and going into here, maybe that's fine. Because if this goes any further, you've got to start intersecting that line. And vice versa. Maybe they're fine. If anything, there might be one too far already.
Cake break.
Have one. Oh, cake break. Let's just pause for a minute there. Oh. Thank you, Skeevers. I wonder. I mean, part of me wants to put more in there so the lines look visually closer, but part of me wants actually less in there now. So I'm imagining like a track going through here for vehicles to go on. It's probably gonna start to encroach a little bit. So let me in fact take out those ones I just put in, so we're flush to kind of the edges of the intersection in that sense. Probably makes sense. Like you could almost, and we're not going to, but you could almost do that sort of thing. You know, to have like your welcome to intersection kind of lines on the road, but we're not doing that. That's going to look super weird. But we almost could. We almost could. What would it look like if we actually continued it through the middle here? Like that. Would that look any good? I don't know that it does. Like you could almost have that to enclose an intersection. It's going to feel weird though, because you're going to have just traffic driving over top of these lines. Yeah, I don't think I want that. I don't think I want that. Let's just have it sort of finish flush. Let's put in some of the black concrete just so that we can see what we're looking at here. Kind of get used to the space. Yeah, I double clicked. I didn't know if I'd placed a block in there, which is disastrous with the void concrete. Wait, this is now one short. This is one short. There we go. Didn't think I was going crazy there. We're also going to very quickly discover just how short this concrete takes us. We're down to 24 of it. Like, we've literally run ourselves out. I mean, we did turn 32 of it into the lines. But, that's gone a lot faster than I had counted it to. You know, there's the beginnings of that sort of thing stopping about there. Yep, okay. Let's pop over here. Boonk. Alright. No. Disabled. So what will we run out of? The actual black dye, which is why we've got that charcoal. That's what the charcoal's job was. That. Bam. Alright. Now we get a bunch more of them. A stack. A second stack. Part of a third stack. And we're out of sand now. Okay. So, we don't have much gravel. Okay. Cobble. Bam bam. Got loads of cobble. We can start crushing that through things while we wash things. One, two, three, 4 stacks of that. Nope, I picked up some of that. So it's not quite 4 stacks, like 3.5. That's fine. It'll be whatever it is. And we're going to wash some of that. That one and that one. Heap of coal on us. Yep, that's still got 64 cobble in it. That of course is just empty, but that's crushing away. We've got bits of gravel. So, what, 3.25 stacks that turned out to be? That's fair. Nope, we're doing it again. We're still picking it up. I need a better loading point. I was doing it from up here before, wasn't I? Peeking through up to there. Yeah. So, we'll let that go down. We'll swap this out for the next one. Get slowly pushed out by the water. So, that's concrete. That's more powder for the edges. That's crushing away there. We're getting sand and other things. We'll have a nap. We'll come back and it'll be done. Yep. Stack and a quarter of sand. And some bonus flint and clay for our trouble. This should be done. It is done. Yes, I thought for a split second it wasn't. And maybe it wasn't and then instantly was, right as I clicked it. Bit of coal and flint and clay can go on the computer there. And all that sand. For when we need to make some more. But for now, this can close in all this. Okay. very dark sort of void looking thing there, but yeah, I mean that's the middle of an intersection. That's basically what this ought to look like, I think. We're gonna have to do something about the power poles. Got to think of the continuation of that around the corner as well, because we talked about weird janky corners. Let me just get out of the chunk and have a look at this on the map. You're still trying to pull your head out of the dirt? Yeah, look at that. Strip there, stop short there. Looks nice. Okay, so... bonk. So it's... what are we doing? It's a copycat beam with warped stem. Yeah. So it's on this one. It's this second one out of 4 facing this way. So it's naturally this guy that gets one of these. Like that. So that's the pole just continuing through there. But having it turn corners here, like here is fine, because I see no issue with putting one on the corner right here. Here is a problem. We might have to put one here and have it cheat a little bit. Because you can't put something here, because it floats. Like that's the whole having a full block thing in the corner. And maybe we have to, just for that reason. So like it does a weird thing here. Do we skip this one then? I mean, it's got a partner over there that it needs. We have a long stretch there. You could move this one block along and create a deliberate asymmetry here to have a spacing of 2 and 2, but then that's like individual isolated cases of things. It's not going to match this side anyway. You run the risk of having things too specific. Maybe it's fine. Maybe it's fine. Just like that. So I feel like we need the corner ones here, because we're going to have to do some clever right-angled corner design for these things. I'm going to need more stripped of this stuff. There we go. So we're going to have to imagine that at some point soon. But I think that does this intersection basically. That gets that straightened out. So, and we'll have to do some poles. It might be time to try one of these corner ones at long last. Work out just what we're going to do here. So I'll just check while we're here on this guy. Yeah, nice, got 100 of them. Plus this that we've got to work out how to get out of there at some point. Great. So turn the chunk back on briefly. And let's carve ourselves out this chunk and sort of work out a bit of a plan of just what we're dealing with here. I'd like to think that once we make this one, we should be able to rotate it to that one. Yep, left, and then we rotate it twice. Let me think about this. So it's go that way, and then it's those, and then it's those. Yeah, if you just rotate it twice, it'll fit there. It'll be about whether these edges work correctly with the poles. We might have to put them off by one or something. But the road surface itself will rotate fine. Oh, yeah, but we weren't copying up at this height anyway because of the copycat blocks. So, no, it'll be fine. It'll copy perfectly well. There's another banner Vader in the chat. I'll just cut this line here. And we'll deal with that. Ban. Bam. There we go. Right. Yeah, digging all this out's going to be fiddly. I can sort of vein mine it, but sort of can't. Also, it's about to break. Pick's going to break any minute now. And I don't think I've got another one. Nope. I don't need that grid on anymore now. Bam, 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 bam. There's the iron. There we go. One. And another one. Alright. Okay, so now I would do the shapeless cutting, but this grass is about to grow in, so let me just try and more aggressively do that. And then we can take all the rest with a shapeless vein mine. See how quickly it grows in by the time we get to it. That should be fine. Vein mine, bam. And again. Nope, it's already started to connect. Oh, it's up here. There we go. Alright. Got there. Okay, so I mean, again, there are going to be some elements of this that are just a non-negotiable. We're going to need a ton more of these pillar deep slate bricks. We do have a ton more. By a ton, I mean 64. So let's at least do the obvious bits. That's got to come through and turn this corner. Not like that, though. We go through so much of this. This is nearly this whole stack gone. I mean, it makes sense. It's 16 along. We're double layering it. It's 32. So that's 32 plus 32 minus the 4 from the corner that got double counted. So, yeah. And in fact, the 4 we need are these 4 here to finish this way. So, yeah, that's a stack to do that. Which is, in fact, what it is in every one of these, now that I think about that. So there's that. Then, of course, we've got the flint blocks that are going to be doing that. And the same on this side. So, again, some standard non-negotiable blocks. Alright, that's just a given. And we're going to have to work out this strip in the middle. We'll have a nap on the void road again. Put that there. Okay. So, bam, 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 bam. Now, 1, 2, 3. Just checking I got that positioned fine. So 2 and 2. I'm wondering if these are going to be just like the intersections. Do these awkwardly just come out to there and there? Where exactly was it flush to? Like it was flush to the edge of the intersection. It was flush to the edge of the concrete powder that wrapped around the corner. Yeah. So we haven't yet put on the concrete powder. It would come out one more. So it would be here and here. And if we put that concrete powder in now, and I guess on the same outside edge here too. That's the same sort of stopping as this three-way intersection here. This is not really an intersection, that was a corner, because I'm conscious that these two can't curve to each other. Traffic's never crossing this though, so there's never a true intersection here. They're just staying within their lane. So these ones could genuinely get closer. The question is just what they're going to look like as they get closer now. So I reckon we can make them come a bit closer and just sort of see what comes of that. Like there and there. What if we went one more? Would that be too much? They've got a sort of a void 4x4 in the middle of them now. That could be okay. One more would be too much because then these would be, in fact, like diagonally touching. One more there and one more there. They'd be diagonally touching. They'd only have the interior 2x2 void. So maybe we just try that for a moment. Fill the rest of this with the black concrete. See how it kind of takes hold. I knew I'd missed one. Wow, we're out of it concrete again. That's nuts. Alright, back to the concrete making machines. More powder. Yep, we've got enough for a stack. A second stack. A third stack, in fact. Almost a fourth stack. We're out of dye. Okay. That's fine. Let's go and water some of that. Take this chance to check on what's happening up here. That granite's gone up slightly. That was at like 3.3, 3.4. Now it's just nudging above 3.5. The andesite and the diorite are definitely descending. They were closer to 10k. They're down at 8 or 7k. So I say we wait for them to get a bit closer to the granite. Then we do the exact same thing. We add an extra... we turn 2 more back on. Just like we did with the granite. So we wait for them to get down a bit. Then we turn 2 back on. For each of them. And then at some point... which might even be now, we tone the cobblestone back a bit. I'm happy to let that just run wild for a minute. Let's just sort that. There we go. Like, it's not in any danger of filling up. So. Okay. Get another one. There we go. And then another one. The black dye we were doing from, which is what we ran out of, I believe. We were doing from charcoal, which we were doing from cooking logs. So we need to just take just the best of our logs whenever we do this, and just have them going as well. Just get another stack of charcoal. That should just be a part of the rhythm of when we do this. That's done. Okay. So there's our 2 stacks of concrete powder, and that's the 3rd one on the go. We haven't given you gold in a long time. How are you doing in there, sir? We've even got 3 ender pearls sitting there for us we should take back. More books. Add them to the stacks. Great that they can start to stack. Looking good. Looking good. Speaking of gold, we've got over 400 gold in there. And 800 zinc. Which is fine. We need them for copycat blocks. These are done. These are done. Alright. Them and them back in the computer. Let's throw some of this dirt in here because we're accumulating a lot of it. Clear that out of there. Okay. Finish this off and see how we feel about this intersection. That was bad. Okay. So, it's the squarest intersection you've ever seen. There is no curvature on this. I fully recognize that. And I wonder whether maybe there should be. Whether we should put the slightest bit of curve on here. You know, like I can get away with the square corners here on a 3-way junction. I just wonder whether it's going to look way too rigid. Maybe it'll actually be a bit better when we put those edges on there. It's always going to look a little bit harsh coming to the corners like that. Can't curve the internal one, really. It'd be putting a slight extra triangle of blocks or something in the corner here to try and simulate a curve. Just trying to think if there's anything funny I can do with these lines. I can't step them sideways one to make them look like they're curving into each other, because then I'll close the lane in. Maybe we just put these bits on the side and see how that starts to shape up. 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, and of course that's the next thing. We've got this sort of thing happening. I miscounted that. Okay. Because I looked at the corner and I expected something different. Yeah, so that's going to have the same effect as these now, but for a completely different reason. So that's got this east-west convention going. This side needs to follow the north-south convention, which counts up from the south here, like this. So to keep that convention in line, 1, 2, 3 there, to line up with that. 3 there, 1, 2, 3 there, to line up with that. So we're going to have that sort of a thing, which is resembling sort of this in fact, except not 2 then 1, 1 then 1. Oh, that was me eating, excuse me. Yeah. Let me put down the slabs. just to kind of see this in action. Ah, come on, get up there. And we definitely can't see it in action when it's that dark. So, ordinarily, the convention is this one has a pole, and on this direction it's this one that has the pole. Oh, and we're out of those. Okay. Grab a few more zinc. Beam. Oh wow, that's a lot. Okay, sure. Well, we're going to need a lot for the telegraph poles, which is why I happily converted a lot of those. So, it's this one, yeah. Okay, so... So we're going to have the same sort of issue with the intersection where some just get repeated a little bit closer than what they ought to have, because we've got like one in the middle intersection and then two there. But this is a little bit funny as to how this happens. Like, we might be doing some of those magic right angle corners that we were warned about last week with the cabling and stuff. Because otherwise, we need another pole here, either in addition to these or to replace these. And I wouldn't want to shift this one back one and shift that one back one, because again, we make a kind of asymmetry that's going to be weird in the tile system when we want to sort of repeat this. So we might just be turning a blind corner there. This one's fine. These turn the corner nicely. That's an issue we might have to deal with. We've also got this internal bit here that's going to be super weird, because that next one's due there, so there's actually none here. All of this is slabs, which I wouldn't do. I'd replicate what happened over here, and I'd put a raised up one there and have slabs either side of that. Pretty sure that was the last flint block we had. Oh no. Oh, we had millions more. Never mind. I'm forgetting that we did that. Made a jillion of those. Like, that I can live with, I think. And I just have to put a pole here, which is out of line to everything. But, again, we kind of have to do it because that one's so far away. If all the power poles are on the corner of a chunk, would that fix it? I mean, possibly. Possibly. It means we wouldn't be able to do this repeating pattern of like 3 then 1 then 3 then 1, because that would never count exactly into certain corners. We'd have to have like a raised up one in the corner and then like, 15 flats or something. Put the chunks back on. So you'd have to have a power pole here instead of in the middle of the chunk. You'd have to have it at the edge of the chunk here. And then the next one you would have all the way up to here. So like that sort of span, like a, so it's still a chunk span. And then the next one, you would just put here, because you wouldn't have all these raised up bits. You might have a raised up one like in the middle of each chunk. So instead of every 4, maybe every 8. But then, of course, it's a completely different spacing for the internal corner compared to the external corner, right? That was all for the external corner. If we do the internal corner, if you had one at the end of the chunk here, you'd have one here. Then your next one would be at the end of this chunk here, which would be right here. Would be your next one then. And then you've got to turn the corner straight away. So I think it's a, you're always going to have an internal versus external corner problem. One's always going to be nicer. In this case, the internal corner is always a bit nicer. One's always going to be a bit dodgier. And in this case, it's the external corner that's a bit dodgier. And because we had sort of that effect over here with the junction. Sort of. Not by much, but it was like one sooner on this corner, because it should have been here, but it was here, so it's a little bit sooner. And the same with this one. This one sort of averages. You got like, this is literally got 2 in a chunk instead of 1. So I think it's just, that's maybe a necessary part of this. So if I turn that off, yeah, that is a tile. We should be able to rotate that and paste that here now. Like the road structure and stuff. We could spin that 90 degrees, put that there, see what that starts to look like. How weirdly zigzaggy the lines in the roads are going to look now. Everything's a lot closer to the corners on both sides. Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Well, let me at least dig out this bit of the ground here. Get this next plot ready for filling. Oh, hello. We've got a friend who's trying to walk down the road. What can I do you for, Sammy? Oh, you're selling me a globe. A sepia globe. And a sea pickle. And a sombrero. Nice. Some sort of a hat. 20 emeralds, though. A little bit rich for my blood. But thanks for the offer, Sammy. So, yes, that is to within the chunk there. Yeah. I'll carve out this bit. I'll see how much of it we can vein mine before it all goes back. Bonk. It's gonna happen no matter what I do. It's fine. Maybe the way to do this is just to do that and then fill the holes. Maybe I'm being way too picky. We just live with it. Then we repatch the holes. I think that's the... Honestly, that saves the most sanity. Just go for it and then plug the holes. Alright. So... now it's a question of copy-paste. So I'll turn this back on. Copy-paste gadget. And we've got to remember how this works now. Because there's already a road chunk copied in here. I need to... What's the button? Because if I right click, that'll start pasting. H, I bet, isn't it? No? No. F. No. That's doing some free runner stuff. Of course it is. Safety. So, it is G. It's Jetpack G. That's what I thought it was. So it was put into copy mode. And, excuse me, sir. You're going to get copied in a minute if you're not careful. And let's copy from this corner here out to this corner here. These 256 blocks. Okay? Just the ground, not the bumpy bits on the side. And we go into paste mode. I need more pillar deep slate and more railed concrete, but other than that we can do a paste. So the more railed concrete we can handle. Oh, jetpack. I forgot that I had my jetpack on with all of that. I'll have a quick nap, so that guy doesn't waste his invis potions. The railed concrete we can... Well, let's just do that much. That one there. Okay. And yeah, like almost more a stack of pillar deep slate bricks. So these things which is just deep slate bricks, right? Why can't I look up the recipe for how to make these? Why is it not giving me the recipe? I mean, it's just deep slate, right? Deep slate. Just literally deep slate, put it into the masonry thing. This is slightly concerning. What was the... Why am I struggling to find the recipe? Like, you just got that in the stone cutter. This mason table from Chipped isn't that all we're doing? Like all this sort of stuff? Okay, let's just get deep slate and sort this out. So we have to go do a bunch of dig. Turn this off. Down in the Mimic Cave. Back here. Nice. We were like cutting through there before with that void hole that we dug. So let's just continue chopping into more of this. And we're literally out of space. Just get a tiny bit more of... I say tiny bit more, but enough more to break the pickaxe. Okay. We'll deal with those floating ores another time. Okay. We're absolutely destroying this place down here, but that's fine. It's here to be pillaged. Jaffa factory. Get us a replacement pick. Okay. Now, moment of truth. Has something happened to Chipped? Cobbled deep slate cannot go in the mason table. This is concerning. Pillar deep slate bricks. So this needs to get cooked first, right? Is that what's going on here? We've got to cook it into deep slate, and then once it's deep slate, still doesn't show that it goes in the table. Have we somehow got an impossible block that no longer has a crafting recipe? Which I don't know how that's possible. Let's just cook some of that up. Because I don't know how that happens. It's not like it's any of this mechanism broken tags business. This is chipped. This is entirely different. Relaunch the pack. I mean, that'll take us 5 minutes, but we could. I'll cook this just to satisfy myself that this isn't some weird thing where we're using the wrong type of stone. I was actually given the wrong type of stone. But I can clearly see the block. Like, the block exists. I have 17 of them from last time. So, they are a thing. Okay, well, I can put deep slate in here, but I can't select anything from it. Put the concrete in there. Put cobble in there, can't select anything from it. The deep slate pillar bricks goes in there. Cobble deep slate can't go in there, but the deep slate can. Yeah, there's definitely some sort of an issue. Alright, let's do a pack relaunch. Recipes did not load right. Agreed. Something's wrong with that. So, let's do a save and quit. Let me throw up a be right back on there. And we're going to just temporarily close and open the mod pack, which is going to take a smidge of time to let everything... A new update is ready. No, not now. Do that another time. Has there been any updates? Right as I say a new update is ready. Let's load that up again. Pause for a sip of water. Alright, it's... Alright, the launch is loaded. We're now launching the game. There it is, not quite loaded to full screen yet. Navigate to wherever the window is. Wait for it to respond enough for us to maximize. There we go. You guys get to see the launcher actually launch for once. lot of auto bot things. Let's get rid of that one as well. Good work on the auto mod detecting all of these things. Okay, things are basically coming back. I can probably take that be right back thing off, because honestly, it's we haven't gone anywhere. We are still here. Loading. Alright. There we go. Ah, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here too, Minecraft. Let's launch back into the world. Check to see if anything else has gone a bit weird. I hate to think that somehow the world has forgotten that deep slate pillar bricks is a thing, and then we've got to find a whole nother cobblestone style pavement block to replace them all with. Which isn't terrible. It's not like there's a million of them, but still. Oh dear. How we going? We've only been going an hour and a half. We started slightly later this evening. But that's fine. The night is still young. The world is still loading. There's those broken mechanism tags. There's the world coming back in around us slowly. Okay. There's Sammy, was it? Over there with his llamas, waiting for us. There's the world coming into existence all around us. Alright. So we do still have them in our inventory. So the game still knows they exist. Mason table. This thing. No, this thing. Yes, there we go. So it is deep slate. It's just regular deep slate. And the pillar deep slate bricks. It's this one. Right. Perfect. Okay, well, now that I know that, let's go and cook a bunch more. And let's just check the recipe for some reason. Yeah, look at that. It's deep slate. Okay. So, recipe's back. I've never encountered that before. Having something like that just simply not load. Let's put a bunch of this stuff in the computer. Dirt. Stack of that coal. And the rest we sort of want on us. Have I got much deep slate in the computer at all? I've got none in the computer. Let's just throw that 47 in there. Making them stack at a time. Wow, you've gone all the way over there now. Yep, that's cooked. How's this looking? Coming along nicely. And how's this progressing? Up to 15k on the cobble, and yep, the others are down to 6 and 5k now, so they are on their way down. So we'll end up forgetting, but not right now, but soon, sometime soon, we'll turn a few more of them on. But we'll end up forgetting, because we're good at that. Turn these into the pillar ones. There. And those ones. Okay. So we've got loads of them now. Oh, and would you look at that? Would you look at that? We have 256 cobble deep slate deep slate in our backpack for some reason, uncooked. It's because we put it there because our inventory got full. So let's stick some of those going. And our copy gadget should be... Yep, it's good to go. Excuse me. The magic now, though, is trying to rotate this, so... And in fact, maybe we sleep first, real quick. Real quick. There we go. And he's hovering. Oh, I'm doing it without without doing that. So rotate. Nope, that's the wrong way. We've got to rotate again. Yes, that's the correct way now. Like that. Okay. Right like there. So, moment of truth, I'm just going to hit paste right as these guys are walking in. Let's do it. and they just step up onto it because, of course, it builds up to them and they just hop up. But, there we go. That has worked well as far as copy-pasting goes. We have successfully copy-pasted that whole corner. We just have to work out now what we're doing with the edging. Swap out a bit more of this cooking stuff. So... Flint. So again, obeying the convention. The North-South convention. Yep. It starts at the bottom and it's every fourth one. Going up like that. So... Which of course is immediately broken because we're not starting at the bottom. So it ends here. So there's one here. And it's counting back down from there. 1, 2, 3, bam. 1, 2, 3, bam. 1, 2, 3, bam. Wow. Because of course that's exactly how this works. Which means we've got that happening. I think. Let me think this through. Bam. 1, 2, 3, bam. 1, 2, 3, bam. 1, 2, 3, bam. Of course we do because of symmetry effects. So one there and one there. So this is somewhat similar to this, except maybe more somewhat similar to that. So it's got the issue of this one, is what it is. It's that corner. It's being replicated now here, which we decided we were going to float. This, on the other hand, is weird. I think we just have that, as awkward as that is. Let's take those grid lines off now. Let's put in... We're going to need a bunch more of those slabs. Let's get a heap of zinc. Make a bunch more of these slabs. That's done. So these ones. I feel like the gaps ain't working and it should be all slabs or all blocks. Yeah. It worked well on the straights. Like, I feel like it was fine on the straights to start with, but with so many corners around, it's definitely doing slightly jankier things. And maybe they are coming too sudden. Maybe every 4 is too quick. And that's, like, it was fine in a short space like this, but now maybe that's too much of it for the volume of what we're doing. We might need to dial back to every 8, not every 4. And that might help with the corners a little bit. Maybe. Because there's also no good place to put a pole here. Now that I think of it. The next pole would have been like interior into here. So it has to be here, in fact. So you're doing it on long straights, but all slabs on corners might be the go. Yeah. Yeah, maybe we just don't make it repeating pattern. Maybe we just make it, yeah, have like a corner is a full block, and then we just have slabs for just indefinite lengths, and maybe we end each chunk with a slab or something, with a full block. So we just have like straight all the way through here, end this chunk with a full block, which the pole would have to come out of then. But then this one would, well, we just push it a few blocks, round it to the nearest chunk. So an interior corner like that. So there'd be one here, and then this one, we just, yeah, round it to the nearest, and so it's a bit sooner, but that's fine. Okay, yeah, maybe we dial back just how many of the full blocks there are, and do mostly slabs on here. And we just, it's just not part of the convention of copy pasting. Maybe we completely rewrite the rules. This could be wild. Let's just do it and see what it looks like. If I do that and put that back there. Here we go, Katoot's coming in with something now. If you replace all the asphalt with conveyor belts, it would save petrol for the cars. Yeah, blocks with power poles and then some for detail and bits that look good would be nice. Yeah, yeah. I think we've fallen victim to my usual kind of mishap, which is being too geometric. That might be the issue. Let me do this. So let me just fully take these out. Oh, that one stays. So that's an end of chunk. So that's where a pole would be. This pole would have to relocate to here. Oh wow, it really wants me to axe that, I guess. We'll do that, we'll do that. We'll axe that. Yep, did prefer the axe. So we take that out, we'll take that out, take that out. Okay. And so we have a full block. There they are. We have a full block there, so that we can have it span the corner. And then we follow this one through here. So one's gone. That one's gone. That one's gone. That's the one the pole's on now. That one's gone. That one... Whoop! That's not right. That one's gone. And then that would be the one that the pole's on, except we're too close to the corner. So we cheat the perspective slightly and extend that out. Because within a span of a chunk of 16 blocks, you might not notice that this is 3 blocks over, just like you might not notice that this is 3 blocks sooner, or equivalent. And so within here, we do the same thing, because this is internal. This one becomes the pole, even though that doesn't necessarily line up with anything else, but purely because it's internal. And none of these have one then at all. Do that, we'll have a nap on the road again. So, yeah, we just have a straight stretch. It just goes corner to corner. That might look a bit nicer. Didn't chop down that other floating guy. I knew we'd left one. So again, same sort of thing. This one here would be going to here, but we cheat it and make it go to here, which is actually a match for 16 blocks relative to within the chunk. So that's not a problem. Same as that, actually, now that I think of it. So in some parts, this does fix itself because of the square nature of things. Oh, come on. Because of the square nature of things. Just take that off and put that like that. There we go. Watch out for the lava, guys. And then, as the east-west convention goes, if we go to a normal straight, in the east-west convention... Oh, wow, what are you guys doing? Spitting andesite out the back, that's not good. In the east-west convention, it's the western edge that has the block in it, as this one would, but it's had to push it a bit. That's going to look interesting, but I think that's fine. So when we come to do this, in terms of the east-west convention, there ought to be one here, which again is going to be slightly off kilter, but that's fine. That's what this is going to do, because it's bigger spacing between them now, so it's not quite as much a concern if things are off a little bit. Gabby reckons doing it like this is legit. I reckon we might be on to a bit more of a winner now too. I'm hoping now this straightens a couple of things out for us. And so again, this is a slight stretch here, because this one would be due to have one here, but we just push it to the corner. It's always 3 blocks in. So we can handle that. The perspective on that's not going to look terrible. Oops. Axe, pickaxe on that one, axe on that one. Again, we take this one out so that we use the corner one Right, now we've not done a north-south convention yet, because that was all east-west, and these north-south here's were all the exceptions. But the way these have been set already, the north-south convention has a block in the north corner. So I think we would do that already. We'd keep this north corner. Yeah, only over 3 blocks to shorter to long is probably a realistic variation. Yeah, nah, exactly. I think that's sort of 3 extra blocks out of 16 is probably better. 3 blocks out of 4 or something, that's a problem. When we're having them repeating in like 4s or 8s, but 3 out of 16 I think is certainly manageable in terms of slight pattern breaking. I knew that was going to happen. Take that guy out too. And so this one would be for that, but we extend it briefly to pick up that one, so that it hits the corner. Right. And same here, so this one needs this one for the corner. This whole strip can be gone, and this picks up this one here just after the corner. That's fine. So we get one just early to the corner and just after the corner. Yep. Are we about to run out of, yep, slabs? We absolutely are. So this is fine. This one does that. And then within that, we take this one out, and this just spans all the way up to there now. So I'll just take them out, and we can re-slab them in a sec. So that one's fine. That one's fine. You've still got a problem. Take these ones out. And yeah, we push this one slightly. Okay, so we get a bit of zinc, make a bunch more copycat slabs now. Copycat slab. Bam. Sort these out. And we swap in a few of these poles just so we can see where they go. I'll get the stack of 33. Just so seeing them on here. I can sort of look at their placing a bit better. And then over here with these ones. And then this corner. And then these couple here. So yeah, this one gets one, which is offset relative to that. And then these ones get one here, and obviously we've got to destroy our starting ones, which are now just acting as templates again. Right. So this becomes our pattern now. So, ignoring those telegraph poles that are actually built there, see if I can block it with the windmill. That becomes our kind of structure there now. A 2-block wide crosswalk in the middle of a chunk on the straight would be mint with white concrete or something. Yeah. Yeah, having like actual like pedestrian crossings through some of these at some appropriate points, I think would make sense. We just gotta find some nice intuitive places to put them. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like maybe there's a opportunity when we've got some actual Jaffa factory here or something, or over to this nature bit, maybe there's a nice crossing somewhere where you can just walk into it from elsewhere or something. Yeah. Yep, I like it. We should think of some of those road decoration details at some point. Absolutely. Absolutely. Bonk. So, it's a little bit, not bland, but it's a bit long and continuous with the edging, but that's fine. That's fine. Once we fully put these power poles, which you might do now, it might help to break up the line of sight a bit. I am just going to check on this thing that we said we were going to forget about, and we have. What state is this in? Okay, they're actually getting quite close. The diorite's basically with the granite, although the granite is going down. I thought the granite was higher than this. I'm staring at it. I'm staring at it. I think that granite is technically going down. Maybe? Yep, it is. Ever so slowly, but that granite is going down. Diorite and andrite are obviously racing down a match. Cobble is skyrocketing up. Yeah, confirmed. Okay, we might tidy up some of these blocks, have a nap, have a quick think about that. Let's sleep right here. There we go. Don't need to be holding all of this in our inventory. Also, we have a bunch of, yeah, let's just throw a heap of this in here for now. Oh yeah, we're still in the middle of cooking this. Whenever we come near, there we go. Pillared, deep slate, which we need to go in. That one needs to get cooked. That one. I'm just putting all the bits and bobs in there. Gadgets for derps. Heap of them. Okay. And our logs for the poles, for stripping. Yeah, let's go and turn all that into pillared. What's Mijig? Are you the same guy or are you a new one? Are you still Sammy? You are. You're still selling me the same things with that sombrero. There. Damn. Just a mega craft all there. And that should be enough for the other one to be ready by now. It is. Add it to the stack. Deep slate craft. Okay. Put all that in the backpack. Alright. Let's just do a little bit of shaft adjustment here. So we've got our wrench for breaking belts for some reason. But we've basically said diorite and andesite need to have 2 more each. And then we'll see if they start slowly dropping like the granite. and we go from there. So diorite there and there. Andesite there and there, and we just go from there. We could turn off some of this cobble, and it would make sense to turn off the end ones. And by turn off the end ones, I actually mean do that. There we go, that's sneaky, because now we can add those just into here, arbitrarily. And by here, maybe I mean the granite. Ah, he's in the water. Not that they're getting plugged in. Just getting sat there so as to be somewhere. So that has effectively taken 2 off the ends of the cobble, putting 2 on the others, left the granite as it is. So there should be 4 on there, 4 on there, 4 on there, and 8 on the cobble. And we'll see how that starts to sort of plateau out after a bit more time. So that's where we're at the moment. Oops. We'll track that a bit later again. Let's put those shafts back. Okay, and let's think about producing a bunch more of these poles. So, where are we going for food? We're getting through those carrots. Nice. So we need a bunch of these copycat beams. They have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 high. Then we need a slab and 2 stairs. So, got a bunch of copycat beams. We've got slabs. We're going to need copycat stairs. Then we can start making a bunch of these. This one. There we go. We're also going to need to strip a bunch of these. So we'll just take a few more of them. And wait a minute. Oh, that's putting down the ones that I've got in my offhand. I'm trying to work out what's going on. Why those ones are... There we go. Good enough. I've put down all the ones in my offhand as well. Now we pick them up. There we go. Bam, 36 of them. Okay. So... just copy these a little bit more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just sort of do them like this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're out of the strip stuff already. They go fast. Let's get another heap of them. Do a bunch more stripping. And bam. Nice. 53 more. Okay. G. Alright. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now we stick a slab on top of all of them. And we'll see if the texture goes the wrong way, because I'm thinking it might. Yep. Which just means that we need to have that on us to be able to do that. Yep. So one of those there. Rotate it. That's dropping a lot of stuff out the back end there. Not real nice. One there, rotated. Yep, and it is. It's just a single rotate. Seems to not fuss about which way I've put things. Now, corners we're going to have to do something about. I'm just going to do that for the moment for the corner, because we need to think carefully about what we're going to do for that. So I'm just going to do this funny one on these corners, because we're going to have to do a custom corner arrangement. So I'm just doing that for now. Whoa, especially not that. That's not right in any world. Oh, I dropped it all. Okay. Straights are fine. They'll do that, because the things are on the sides there. We're going to need a sleep, so we better. Gives us a chance to pick them up. Have a nap. So, got to do something about these ones. They're going to have like stuff on all four sides probably. And these things, this is a north-south continuous one now, so that is now the wrong way. So second one, that's now the correct way. So 1, 2. There we go. That one, 1, 2. That one, 1, 2. Okay, so that's more or less all of those. Again, we're going to need more stripped stuff. Not much more, but we are going to need more. Bam. Alright. So we need these stairs. Hover. And thinking through how these place. Like that, and then 2 of them to make them do that. Yes. Okay. There. 1, 2. Okay. Okay. Alright, skipping corners for now. Which means it's then just these ones here. Wait, no. Like that. Yeah, because this is north-south, so it's 1s are 2s, 2s are 1s. Yep. So it's that now. On the north-south. Okay. And we're going to end up needing more of them steps. So let's just get a couple more of them. How's this going? This is getting full. I'm gonna have to start moving some of this into the computer. Let's just take that whole stack, honestly. That whole part of a stack. Stairs. Okay. So these corner things. I'm thinking. So as the power and cables and things are running down the 2 sides of this, you're coming up to this and you've got things that are on the 2 sides. So the one on the outside makes the most sense because it's coming out here and it's going to wrap around and go under here. The one on the inside does a little bit of magic where it comes in here and it just turns internally. So for the outside one, you need to have that and that. Like you need to have that for the outside bit for it to kind of wrap around underneath. So I'm just wondering whether I need to have like all 4 of them. Like this. Have like big flowery sort of ones on the corners where the outside ones wrap around, the inside ones just do a little bit of a cheat. Of course, this inner one shouldn't be like that. If it's matching all the others, it should be something like that, or the other way. Doesn't really matter, because it's always internally hidden, so you can't ever see a side. So from underneath, you get ever so slight directionality on that. Like it's either running that way or it's running that way. I don't think I want the circle in the middle because we're kind of using that as having a little bit of meaning. So I think that's, whoops. I think that's fine. Let's replicate that a little bit. Throughout here. That sort of thing. do that one. Okay, and then just these two here. So they look a little bit flowery. You know, like they're sort of fully bloomed, but again, I don't think there's much we can do about that. Ah. Okay. And of course, because we're out, we can't rotate it. Alright. We nearly had enough. Good thing there's just so many of these. Alright, stripping the rest of the logs. Vein mining the logs. Bam. Okay. One there, the rest in the offhand. That one, there we go. So they're all done, it was just this one. Oh, I've done it again. Okay, so that's hopefully all the power poles done. Oh! I realised exactly what was happening right as it happened then. That has not happened in a long time. And it does remind me, at some point we're going to have to figure out charging these gadgets, but that was a good time for that to run out, right as we were just going up to have a little look at how things were appearing. I was just starting to formulate the thought that these, as I say, these kind of blooming, sort of flowery ones almost feel like they need something at the top. Like a regular telegraph pole can have its little sort of divot in it. It's kind of like M shaped there. But these ones that are sort of got a cluster to them, I feel like they actually need another block in the center. Maybe a full-sized stripped warp stem block, or maybe like, I don't know, a lamp block or something weird, like, you know, a lamp on each corner. That might be interesting. But just something to kind of fill them. Like, you can't really see from the ground. Like, you can't tell at all that they feel much different than the others, but just because they're a slightly more specialist kind of thing, maybe we can lean into them a bit. Have a quick sip of the water again. Remember to stay hydrated. How are we going? Is that anywhere close to being full? Actually fully full. Okay. Yeah, so it's more looking down from above. These look like they like cup the rainwater in them kind of thing. Like they would fill up. Like these things are, you know, as they are. But I feel like these just need something in them. Like, oh, and of course, oh, because of course that's a half block in there. Okay. So that's already something interesting. So let me take that out. Let me think about putting a full block in here. Oh, I'm doing that. I wanna be able to actually place a block like that. Right. So we still get the no texture from underneath. That's a full size block in there. Like it fills it. It's not hollow now. We've redeemed the slab. But what have we got for like a light or lamp or something? Like we're getting a... Oh, well, we are. We're getting a bunch of these shroom lights for free, automatically, from this thing. So what can they be used for? You can actually make a slab out of them. Oh, that's nice. A shroom light slab on the top. That'd be fun. Let's just see what that looks like. Like it's an orange green sort of thing, but I'll leave one in there. And yes, you can actually put them back together. So this is a two-way process. We don't have to save them. So I can put this one back in here. If I sit one on top here, like that, you know, just as a thing, you know, like I don't really know what it's meant to represent at all, if anything. It just feels interesting. So, I mean, we don't actually have to replace the copycat slabs. We could leave them in there and still just put this on top, technically. I mean, that one's that one's a full block. It's not saving us anything. We're still using a full block, although it's saving the copycat slab for what it's worth, but they are infinitely free. Maybe we just leave it as the slab. No, I knew that was going to be the problem. I knew I was going to have to do that from above. Okay, let's just take that light back off. I love the noise it makes, that kind of boom. There we go. And so now, we just stick that light on top there, in each of these corners. Boom. Boom. And there. So it's not on like regular light posts. It's just on these corner ones, which I think is fine. Putting it on a regular one would look weird, right? That has no meaning. It floats because that's a slab. It now makes a pyramid kind of thing. It's not happening. Hello? Hello? Have you come to check out my my dude hiding in the side there? I think we need to go and have a tussle with you, maybe. Let's get our sword out and let's just... Yeah, you got red eyes and you've come to check out what the deal is with this guy. Have we still got our flamethrower? Yep. It's set to combat, that's what we want. We got to be careful about the bison though. Here we go. Oh, hello, you're one of these people. There we go. I think we finally got him. Blind for a couple more seconds. Yep. Also, the bison's gone. That's probably not a good sign. Especially when there's a bit of XP over there. I suspected that was going to happen. That somehow in the friendly... hello? Oh, is this why... Is this why you had your head in the wall? Were you trying to chat to these fellas? Who have been trapped in here the whole time? Sorry, mate. I'd say we handled that, fairly averagely. If I do say so myself, that was a pretty mediocre flamethrowing. Got ourselves a totem of illusion. But, yeah, that was fun, but not very effective. Stick that in the computer. Which I think we've already got one of. Yeah, we already had one of them. Then we have the totem of freezing. Okay, so now we need like a jillion more of these cables. Oh, and we need to break the first set. And we should cast an eye over at these things. That again are just tossing stuff everywhere. I mean, we can... Hello? Oh, there's just pigs and dogs and things. I thought there was people up there. I was going to say, we can break this down now, but maybe we should just template some of these cables through. We don't have a million of these by any stretch, but we can at least just start to... just start to carry them through. And what am I supposed to break these with? I don't even know. Can I wrench them back out? No, not like that. Let's take those out of our offhand for a bit. Yes, I can. Okay. There we go. So we've at least got that. And can I wrench these in the same sort of way? I cannot. Because of course, refined storage, completely different thing. But they do break practically instantly because they are just a glass cable. Oh, it's because I'm hovering. Ah, that's what slows it down. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Hitting my head on the pole. Okay. I have a nap. Break down those poles. And see about getting a jillion more wires. Oh wait. Yeah, I don't want to just break them and lose everything. I want to break them and break them. And same with these ones. Now, there's no way I can reach that from ground, so I have to build these up in the air. That's fine. We need to go craft a bunch more of them. ME cable, basic universal cable. Let's see what sorts of many resources we need to mass produce these. So, ME cable. Me cable. No, just regular ME cable, not fancy glass things, although maybe that's what that is. Smart cables, no. Flex glass. ME cable. No. We're doing. That's the wrong sort of cable. I'm in the wrong mod. It's not applied energistics. It's refined storage. Looking at refined storage cables. There. It's not even called an ME cable, it's just called a cable. That's why I can't find it. Okay. Bunch of quartz enriched iron, which is a bunch of nether quartz. Nether quartz we're getting out of washing soul sand. With a very low chance. Yeah. No. Crushing diorite with a much higher chance. Because otherwise washing the soul sand involves getting regular sand and haunting it, and that takes a lot of steps. Okay, crushing diorite. Although we've got a bit. What are we in terms of diorite? Nope, looks like we're getting diorite from the system. Go get a bunch of diorite, crush it, use this as a chance to check on everything over here. They're definitely still going down. So we need to turn more on for granite. Not sure about the andesite and the diorite, but we're going to have to turn more on for granite. Let's get 2 more shafts, turn 2 more on. One and that one and diorite. What was it? It was like 25% chance. Yeah, 25% chance. So 4 stacks will get me a stack of the stuff. Although one of them makes 4 of them. I only need 6 of them to get 12. So 2 cables require 1 of these, which requires half of that. So 1 of that gets me 4 bits of cable. So a stack of it gets me 4 stacks of cable. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. Let's crush it up here. That's the loading platform. There we go. They can get crushed. So that'll let us make a bunch of quartz enriched iron, because we've got iron for days. Glass and redstone. Glass is going to be a pain. That's cooking a bunch of sand. So we'll do that. We'll get some Get some of that going. Still crushing. I think that's done. And we made more than we should have. 32 on average. And we've made 10 extras. Nice. So, there you go, quartz and shine. Stack of that. So, 60. Oh, and we're out. Ah, because we're out of glass. There it is. So, take a stack of sand. And what have we got for gravel? None of that. So, let's get the cobble out. Send 4 stacks of cobble through the thingamy to turn some of that into gravel and sand, just so we've got more in the system. Because we're about to turn the rest of that sand into glass. So if I were to just stick this in that, yep, it turns straight to glass. Okay, but we do have a bunch of cables, so we can just begin with that. Another chat spammer. Get rid of that one too. Bam, bam, bam. All right. Oops, that was the wrong kind of jetpack mode. Another one, like instantly. 2 more instantly. Are they just waiting for me to ban them so that they can come back with another thing? Alright. Got that one sorted. So this is... Oh, that's reached out one too far. Didn't catch it. So, these ones on this side are like looping around the thing. As I say, the interior ones are the ones that are going to do a little bit of magic. But that's fine. And this time it's this one's job to be the interior one, so it does that and now turns already kind of thing. It sort of turns early, which is weird, but you can't wrap them around the pole, so that's sort of what we're limited to. I knew that was going to happen sooner or later. Okay, and we'd better stop under that pole. Stay within our chunk. Okay. So that's done that outside edge. We're going to run out, so we better just check on the rest of the system of things. There's a... No, there. There's a bunch of glass for us. This should be gravel, which I'm going to turn half of it into sand and leave half of it as gravel. Bam, bam, bam. Have a nap. Oh, yep, there's more gravel in there. I think I put cobble in there instead of gravel. Oh yeah, this weird isolated setup of a moss block that's slowly producing bone meal. That's like one of the least efficient automations, shall we say, within the base, but because it's been there since the start, it's slowly working its way through. And one of these will turn into glass again. The other one can just go back into the computer. Bam bam. Go and fetch the glass. Once it's done, while we wait, have a quick peek at this. Shouldn't have changed much in the time we've been here. Yeah, it's changed an indiscernible amount. That's sorted. But this, loading up. So much electrum. And copper. 1,000 electrum, 1,000 copper, 1,000 iron. Like, you can see that's the baseline. That's what the gold and the zinc would be at if we hadn't nabbed those. Excellent. You're doing a good job, site manager Piglin. So there's a bunch of glass back in there. Let's build a bunch more of cables. And of course we're out of the quartz enriched iron almost immediately. Stick that in there. There we go. Let's try that for a bit. I should have this continue all the way back to the start of this chunk. One more. Okay, there we go. That lines up there. Hi there in the chat, Addy. Thanks for stopping by. We're currently beautifying what one day will become the Jaffa factory, or at least the road infrastructure, with some attempts at power lines and things. Let's see, keep this going over this way. And then we've got an internal corner coming up here now. Yep, so on this one. And then this now becomes the external corner on this side here. Whoop, it's happened again. Got a branching bit. Okay. So we've got miles to go. I'm thinking that we're going to come and hit this pole any minute now. Only now do we get there. Stays on the internal here. And this can continue to just run back now. Oh, that's too far by a mile. Overshot the chunk. Chunk manager would not be happy with that. So, this one. Yeah. That's within the chunk. Yep. Technically, because it's within the block. Yep. Did that drop? Did we pick it up? I think we picked it up. Did that spawn a fly? Just came out of nowhere. I see you buzzing around. I think we picked all that up. Okay, so that's done. That cable. Technically, there is an external cable on this side. We are going to be just short on cables though, so we should make a few more just to complete that look. There we go. Ooh, got jokes in the chat. Here we go. What's a pig's favorite karate move? Oh, like some sort of chop, karate chop or something. So pork chop. There we go. Pork chop. Got it. Haha. Nice. Nice. I knew there was going to be something chop related in that. Oh, Looney Zach in with the tips there. Can you use the building gadget to build the ME cable? Now that you say that, I bet I could, especially when I'm building just these long straight strips like this. We might try that because this is the end of the ME cable now. This straight along here. We might try that for the whatchamacallit, the other cable, the one that the power comes through. Trying to go back fast. There we go. Oh, would you look at that? Perfectly timed. Okay, that's all the ME cable, but absolutely, let's think about doing a building gadget. Let's think about about pork chops, and yep, using a building gadget to extend this guy. This might be much nicer. The basic universal cables. Let's go and check what we needed for them. Chuck the rest of these back in the computer. So, basic universal cable. Ah, they needed steel and the redstone. Mechanism steel. So, how are we doing that again? I don't think we are doing oh yeah, we are. We're doing steel dust. Yeah, we are. Okay, okay. So, iron plus a carbon makes enriched iron, plus a second carbon makes the steel dust, and then it gets blasted into steel ingots. Okay. How many steel ingots do we actually have here? Not enough. We're going to need heaps. So, let's get the iron. So it was... Nope, that's the wrong kind of steel. It was... I've already forgotten it. Yeah, so it's 1 to 1. We need twice as much carbon, so we're going to need... Yep, let's get a stack of charcoal and a second stack of charcoal. So, metallurgical infuser. That and that. Let's get this turned into a second stack of charcoal. Oh, hang on, I'm missing more jokes in the chat. Let me get that cooking. What do we got? Ice cream sandwiches are just edible Minecraft books. I saw that recently. Yeah, with the book. You know, like most people look at this and they see Minecraft book, but what is it? But I look at this and I see, you know, ice cream sandwich or something. Absolutely, that totally looks like an ice cream sandwich in the most delicious way, and not a book at all. Thank you for the follow there too, Addy. Great to have you with us. I do enjoy a good pun. They were great. Yes, Katooth, they totally do. Oh, dear. So we've got these cooking away. This is going to take forever, especially to double cook these, but that's fine, he says. We do what we can with what we've got. How much redstone? Oh, we are going to run out of redstone eventually, but that's fine. So what am I currently working on? I'm currently, shall we say, beautifying a bit of the infrastructure here. Big picture, we're building a Jaffa factory, right? That is the nature of the Jaffa factory mod pack, right? And we've fiddled around with a bunch of stuff to start with. We got ourselves a huge amount of Hopper Botany pots doing things. We learnt how to do create, never done create before, so we played around with cogs and conveyor belts and learnt how to do it. Most of these cogs are wrong, don't look at them, they're not right. We got a little bit better at cogs and did a windmill, got a crushing wheel and things, and then we did even better again and made the world's biggest, ugliest windmill that's clipping into itself now for some reason, to get loads and loads of stuff so that we can get loads of tuff, so that we can crush it to get loads of resources. And now we are building roads. So currently, the thing that we're working on is setting up a little bit of the road network that I'm kind of imagining around the place. I'm sort of putting a Jaffa factory somewhere up here, I think. And there's a bit of roads going around some of our smaller chunks here. And I had this idea that if we've got like Jaffa factory up here somewhere, and we might want to have power and computer access going to various other sites out here, and so I thought, well, in part of developing this road system, we should also develop some sort of power line system, where we can have, you know, the computer cables down one side and we can have the electricity cables down the other side. And we've just finished doing all of the poles and sorting out the road tiles. Now we are putting the cabling together. So computer cables are done. Now it's time for universal cables. And it is nice, thank you. We are going to experiment with the building gadget. Here we go, building gadget. Because so far all we've been using it to do is like fill dirt in things. So I'm going to have to re-remember how this works. Yeah, I'm going to have to re-remember how this works. Let me get the book back out. Gadgets for derps. We did learn this at some point. Building gadget. Sure, the gadget has some energy. Shift right click on a block. That's it. So I need to do that for the cables. And then we swap the build modes. Okay. Right. So I need to... Oh, how about I get up there first? Let's get that out of there. Okay, shift right click on this. Right, so now I'm building with cables everywhere. But I also want to switch the build mode to horizontal row. I think is what this is. And range 5. Well, no, I just want build to me is what I want. That's what I want. Build to me. Maybe. So if I... Nope. Other jetpack mode, hover. And I can look at this. Yes, look at this. I can just look at that and say, please build all the way to me. Oh, this is going to be amazing. I can stand here, look at that, and go, build. Oh, would you look at that? Ah, that's a brilliant idea. Who was that in the chat that suggested that? Looney Zach. Thank you for the great suggestion. building gadgets and copy-paste gadgets, again, much like the create mod, are a completely new thing to me. I've seen them used, but I've never physically used them myself, so this is a load of fun to get this figured out. So if I do that on this side now for this one, and I've got to line up with my chunk edge. One short, one more. There we go. Nice. Only got 10 more. That's fine. We don't need many. That's one too many. Let's go check on that iron. Because now that we can build this ridiculously fast, we need to be able to produce cables ridiculously fast. I could always do something about speeding up the metallurgic infuser, making a second one even. You know, I'm playing a very minimalist mechanism game here, if I'm being honest. What did it take to make a metallurgic infuser? Oh, just 2 more furnaces. Bam, bam. Okay. That will slightly speed this up. And I might even stick the second one just directly above it. Double stack them. Fill that one with coal as well. And I can take out the enriched iron and get it doubly enriched. Like on the go. It's not a perfect overlap, but that'll get some of that going. So there's the steel dust for us to go cook to make more basic uni, to make more steel dust cooked into the steel ingots to make more cables. Right. I can never understand mods, so none of this makes sense to me, but it looks really cool. That's fine. That's fine. Understanding is my job. This is Overthunk by Sharky. That's our branding. So we take the complicated route most of the time to get otherwise simple results. So we just have to wait on a bunch of this now. I think we're just twiddling our fingers for a bit. Put some of that in there, some of that in there. Let that cook away. I'll tell you what I will do, because again, it's always worth having it on the go. Make more charcoal, because we burn through our charcoal supply doing this. Again, at some point we could think about automating some of that, but for now we're just going to manually do everything a lot of times. I'll just get 10 of these. Actually, yeah, let's get 10 of these out. That's enough to just blast this. Posture check, everyone. Alright. That's out. That's cooking. Oh, good work, Addy. Let's sit back up. How long have we been at this? Just about 3 hours. Yeah, the posture has definitely suffered. Oh, there. Over the course of the 3 hours. So, that is well needed. Thank you for that. Make sure you're all sitting comfortably, everyone. If you haven't stood up and stretched in a while, make sure you do that. So there's our steel. We can now make a bunch more of them. 40 more of them. Not a heap, but it'll get us going while we wait for more of this to cook. That's it, fix that shrimp back. Exactly. So, oh, I didn't put the charcoal on the computer. Never mind. Building gadget. Hover mode. Up go. And this time, this is building out to the internal corner here. Yeah, like that. So cool. I love that. And now we can run through to here. Have it turn this corner. Oh, that's one too far. I knew that was going to happen. I was worried about where I was standing. Oh, we need to do that edge too. That's okay. We're somehow doing both sides at the same time now. Let me take one of those off there. Slowly chopping it as we float. Okay. So, well, let's just hop down. Do. How are we looking? Okay, yep. So we get the rest of those out of there. Dump those in there. So that's the remainder of that. Let's just take, you know, those ones and put them in there. How have we done that? Yeah, this is very imbalanced. This is doing 10 of them. So it's like 67. I put way too much carbon in here, didn't I? I think I put way too much carbon in. Maybe. Let me sleep and let me think about this. I'm trying to do the maths. Not that that matters. We can have excess carbon in there. It just means we can make way more steel than I intended. Yeah. Like, that's got 640 and that's enough to make 64 more of them. We can do heaps of this. Let's get some more iron. Another stack of iron. I can keep going. There's 32 more of that. That'll do a heap more. Get it cooking. Check on this real quick again. Is this filling? It's improving. The granite's now up to 3,700. Andesite and diorite are sitting in the neighborhood of that. Cobalt's still at 15k, and it was at 15k before. So we might have gotten to a bit of an equilibrium, or at least closer to one. So that's good. There you go. Bunch of steel. That'll make a heap more cable. To put it actually in the computer. Stack. Second stack. Nice. 2 stacks. This is charging away. Just get this one out, filter it into the other one. Yeah, I could totally be doing that. I could totally be ejecting from one into the other, because this is mechanism, and it does that sort of thing. That's okay. We'll not fuss about that. Let us get building gadgets going. Let's hover back up here. Let's keep the building coming. Oh, that is one too far across. Yep, didn't even notice. No, dropped it. There we go. Okay, so Nice. And all the way up to here. Now, trying to get confused here with the intersection. That's too far. Yep, that's it. Don't let the power cross the intersection. That would be weird, I think. I think it's got to stay on its own side. The streams shouldn't touch. Though at some point they'll have to. There we go. Nice. We're getting through it. So... oh, no, no, no. Come all the way up here. Looking at the edge there. Why can't we see that? Is there a build limit? I think there is a build limit. Which is fair. It's allowed to be a build limit. That did connect. Yeah, it did. Gotta do one more. There we go. Now we've turned that corner. Come all the way back down here. What is that? A bunch of cinder quills, maybe? A bunch of cute cinder quills. Through there, please. Yes, right to the edge of that chunk. Beautiful. And then this one actually works fine because we can just come straight off the wall. Because we're not attaching to anything else, we're just attaching to the wall. So we just go all the way to the end. Oh, it'll only build 29 though. That's not going to do the end. This is like 3 chunks worth. That's 48. That's fine. It's time we got some more anyway. Checking on the mechanism stuff. Stick that in there. That's still going along nicely. We're still going to have loads of carbon left. That's fine. One more of that. I had an odd even issue there. There we go. We get to 32, then we'll take it out. Hydration check as well. Let's do it. What are we? Yeah, we're at 3 hours. We were at 3 hours before, just under 3. Guzzle some of that water. Here we go. That should keep us going for a bit. Cook this one up. Check on this again since we're in this neighbourhood. Yep, the cobble's gone from 15.8 down to 15.7. I did bother to actually take note of that a little bit. I didn't pay attention to the rest. So that's fine. We're slowly going down cobble, so it'll return to the levels of the others. Oh, that's done already. Nice. Water tastes better when it's drank out of a water bottle versus a cup. I'd say there's maybe a time for both. It kind of depends. Water from a bottle, certainly you can like throw it back in a way you can't from a cup, absolutely. But I don't know. It depends on the bottle, depends on the cup, maybe. Depends on the circumstance, I guess. Let's well, that's enough cables for now. Let's not just turn the whole thing to cables. That's still going. That's still going. Let's get just a few of those passed into the next bit just to keep them going. And let's see if we can build 3 chunks of cable, all from looking at the other end. Oh, the timing on that. Ran out of jetpack fuel. I really need to start paying attention to the jetpack. That's twice this session that we let the jetpack go empty. And let's charge the free runners while we're here. Oh, of course, it's that side where they charged from. There we go. Well, that's why we couldn't charge the gadgets before. We were putting them in the wrong side. We were putting things over in here. They go in here. Of course they do. Well, that solved that mystery. Excellent. But we're going to have to learn to be better with this jetpack. I mean, we're just flying around the base, at least. But if this happens in the nether, we might have problems. I mean, we've got the backup jetpack. We did that whole thing 2 sessions ago, or maybe that was the last session actually, where we stocked ourselves up with like emergency backpack supplies, like a second jetpack, but still gotta be prepared. I'm keeping an eye on time too. Probably, I'd say no more than half an hour here, and we've got to call this a wrap. And as is, we're actually getting quite close to having this cabling done. So we'll get this cabling sorted. We'll work out a plan for what else. We did this whole thing while we were hovering too. Just noticed that. Get this cabling done. We'll work out a plan for what we're doing next, and then we might have to call it a wrap for a bit. Is that gonna build? There we go. That's it. So that's kind of our build limit about there. Whatever that works out to be. And that's the position. That dirt block right there. Let's see. Let's do the maths. I got 64 and 29. And when I tell it to build there, I've got 33 and 29, so we've gone 64 down to 33, so that's 31. So one shy of half a stack, so there might be an off by 1 error happening there. But 30, 31, maybe half a stack, maybe 2 chunks is what it's trying to do. Because I'm looking at a block 32 blocks away, so it can build 32 chunks of site. Not 32 chunks, 32 blocks, 2 chunks. One closer. There we go. Nice. Let's have a nap in the wild with the jetpack going. And let's just have a little bit of a look around the joint from the air. Because I think that's the cabling done on the existing part of the road. Obviously there'll be more road and things at some point. But I like how that's looking. I like the green sort of neon kind of, you know, you can sort of see power flowing through it, as it were, even though these are literally empty cables with nothing in it. And then the kind of more thinner, sort of subtler gauge of the computer cable running around the outside as well. I quite like that. I think that's come off, you know, as well as we were hoping when we were dreaming up this idea of some sort of an infrastructure there. I dare you to say good day, mate. Trying to pull the Aussie good day. It's one of those weird things, accents. You can never hear your own, but it's definitely there. Like if I listen to like other, you know, strong Aussie spoken people from like different states and stuff, you can totally hear the Australian accent, but you're kind of blind to it in yourself or the people that you see all the time. Let's stick all that in the computer now. And in fact, we can empty a bit of the backpack maybe. That's not the backpack. Although, we're going to need that for roads and things. We can empty a bit of some stuff. Let's stick that in there. I'll stick those in there. found that if I say good eye, oh yeah, good eye, mate. Sounds like I say good day, mate, in an Australian accent. Yes, yes, I could see that. Good eye, mate. Yep, I could see how that would work. I'm presuming that you're American, but I'm just completely assuming your nationality here. Um, since you're using words like that to kind of phonetically represent an Australian accent. What are we doing? I'm just literally walking around. I'm not even thinking now. I love the green highlights on the map now because the cabling. That looks great. And like the little the glowstone lights in the corners. That shows up nicely in a weird unintentional way. I think that's looking really cool. Honestly, do we call it here? We might genuinely call it here, because all we'd be doing now is thinking about maybe, in terms of the rest of the road, obviously the road's got to go a little bit further this way to kind of be able to fence around wherever the Jaffa factory's going to end up here. I'm hoping to keep this road going down here a little bit more. I'd love to be able to preserve maybe like a little nature reserve here of like our original spawn. Like I like the little spawn camp here. I'd like to be able to kind of make it like a little heritage listed site in some respects within these 4 chunks here. So I'd have this road come around and go behind it in some sense, maybe even behind it and around past like that or something. But because of this mountain here, this sort of mountain here, I don't want to completely just flatten the landscape. I'd like to investigate a tunnel of some form, be able to like undermine this and have this sort of outcrop a little bit. Maybe not right to the edge here because this gets pretty low, but if we were a bit deeper in the tunnel, a bit deeper in the landscape here, make this into an actual tunnel, sort of, where are we, around and under, sort of under through there for our 2 chunks. Let me bring that up. So for this chunk and for this chunk, and it would have turned in there and it would have come back out here, and it'll be coming down through here now. The road continuing through these 2 here past that. Like it's a pretty low bit there, but maybe, maybe like this hill would be part of like the heritage listed part here. And so I don't know, maybe we could, like this edge though would tunnel. Yeah, it would. Wow. Yeah, I have to think about that. Maybe I could cheat by building this up a bit higher. Did we mine that out? Is that natural? Maybe we mined that out at some point for a bit of coal, perhaps. Yeah, the integrity of the spawn I feel like is a nice thing to try and preserve. Then we can kind of move away all of our junk that we put in here, try and get the cows out of here, put the cows where we were thinking of maybe moving them. Try and restore the spawn area here to as close to its natural form as we can get it. But that's definitely a next time job, not at this time one. We're doing the wrap now, I think. I think we're doing the wrap. The green highlights do look pretty good. Thank you, Addy. I do like how they've come up. They've come up almost better than I thought they would. As much as you can kind of just guesstimate going into these things blind. Oh, that's empty now. Yeah, okay, so that's the 260 from there. That's the exact amount we had. So we did have the exact amount of carbon we needed. We just had it weirdly split between the 2 of them. That's fine. That's fair. Okay. Well. Do we stall for 60 seconds? Let that go through. We should have swapped that over before we finished, so we can start doing the wrap up. Oh, we need to do a thumbnail. We've got to get the thumbnail shot before we're done. And I feel like it's got to be the road network. You guys are moaning more than usual. You right? We've gotta get a shot of these roads. Something from this angle is an angle we don't tend to see often in the thumbnails. Like that, maybe. Something in there. Okay, somewhere in there will be the episode thumbnail shot, I reckon. That kind of frames what we've been doing this time. Alright. Excellent. Excellent. Gotta remember that part. That's a third done. Oh dear. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll double handle this. We'll take that. We'll run that over to get cooked. As we wait for it to get cooked, more of that gets made. Cook that. Check on this, because we're in the neighborhood again. A lot of lag. Still 15.7k on the cobble, but the others feel like they're going up. The granite and andesite feel like they're going up, but at the same time that diorite feels like it's going down. That feels like it's going to duck under 3k any minute now. Yep, it is. It is. It was toggling between 7 and 11. Now it's toggling between 6:10. Now it's toggling between 5:9. So that diorite is ever so slightly going down. Very slowly. I'd have to watch the others more closely to tell that too. But we can think about sorting that next time if that starts getting critical. Chuck that in the computer. Okay, it's nearly done. Sort of. Nearly. Don't need to clean up the inventory. All the rest of this is fine. Put a tiny bit of charge back into that. Not that side. That side. There we go. The jetpack could do with more fuel again. Not that one. There. Doing all the things. How are we going? We're not even like pulling all the power. Alright, that's done. Filling back up with hydrogen. That's getting even closer to being done. As soon as this is done, we're just seeing that off so we can stick it back in the computer. Cook it, stick it back in the computer, and call it a wrap for this session. We're coming up on midnight here, Australian time, east coast of Australia. 11:51 PM, if that's reading rightly, so that'll get us near enough to a solid 3.5 hours, which I think will be a decent level of progress for this week. Yeah, yes. Getting some sleep is what I intend to do very shortly. Get this one cooking. In it goes. I mean, do I dare check this again? You know, watch pot never boils, that kind of thing. That diorite's, there you go, it's just ducking under the 3,000 now. Didn't make any attempt to memorize the numbers for the granite or the andesite, so I don't know how well they're faring, but if they're like the diorite, they'll be like 2 or 3 below what they were last time we looked at them. Whoa. Fallen in the water. That's done. Okay, all that steel's cooked. How's it looking? There you go, we got 71 steel in there, nice. Okay, well let's go stand on the sand goodbye spot. And as the sun begins to set on things, let's get ready to call it a wrap here. Those cows are definitely going to get moved out at some point. They've been there for almost 12 episodes, basically. But that's been a good session. We've done a lot of work on the roads, power lines. I think that chapter's almost come to a close for now. Maybe next time we'll go through and sort out those mining into that hill a bit there, undermining that setup. Maybe we'll look out over there and extend it a little bit more towards the neighbours up on the hill. Do something about those holes in the ground over there. All those kinds of things, all those good structural things. And at some point, we might even build a Jaffa factory. You never know. But as we said at the start, next week is a coin flip as to whether or not we can make it back here. The week after, unfortunately, we almost certainly can't make it back here. So, as good as it has been to have the company of everyone tonight, it's going to be a couple of weeks maybe before we're back. Stay tuned. Skeevers should be here tomorrow night, hopefully, doing some more of her shenanigans in her own Minecraft world, whatever she gets up to. She'll be back here tomorrow night if she doesn't have other plans to keep her stuff going. But it might be another 2 weeks, possibly 3, before we get back here. Whoops, tapped out of there by accident. But with that, let's call it a wrap. In fact, let's do the save and quit. Thank you everyone for tuning in. That has been another stream that was Overthunk by Sharky. Have a good one, everyone. I will catch you all in the next one. Bye bye.